deal. The last time we spoke, the Lair was telling me that, telling us, I should say, telling us that the Brooklyn Nets, they should probably look to kind of retool. Kevin Durant was okay where he was, and he wanted him to stay, but I just felt like the Nets were a little bit itchy. But I want to get out the way. I want to let the Lair Brooklyn Net fan kind of explain where he's at, the trade, and all the details that we need to know. But yeah, welcome to the Basketball Zone. Make sure to like, subscribe to my channel, like, subscribe to the Lair as well to stay NBA updated. But the Lair, yo, the floor is yours, man.
Thank you for having me. Um,
Of course, man.
the irony of it all, my gracious co-host asked me, "Hey, where would I want him to go?" And I said I wanted him to stay in Brooklyn, but then I did say if I wanted him to go anywhere, I had the Suns in mind. So to see this happen in the dead of the night, at first I was shocked. Then I was confused because I saw how much the Suns gave to Brooklyn. And then I was happy when we were just talking about Chris Paul playing with Kevin Durant, and I realized Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton would remain on the Suns with Kevin Durant.
Yep,
I,
leaving a big four, leaving a
I'm
big four.
I'm so sorry for the league. I'm sorry for the Boston Celtics. I'm
Here we
sorry
go.
for
Here
the
we go.
Denver Nuggets. I'm
Here we
sorry
go.
for the Golden State Warriors. The NBA is broken again. This is another super team. What
Think
happened?
so?
What happened the last time Kevin Durant joined a team that went to the finals without him? What happened? We know what happened, and sometimes history repeats itself. Am I upset that he left the Nets how he left them? A little bit. But let's call a spade a spade. Management in Brooklyn, and this is Joe Tsai, this is Sean Marks, incompetent. A crap show from the handling of the Ben Simmons ordeal to, you know, making Kyrie apologize, but then having him go beg to every rabbi in New York, which I get it. It's okay. But then to throw him a contract with specific language or request and then not think he would leave. They contributed to this mess. Am I mad at Kevin Durant? A little bit, but not really. The guy just wants to play ball. The guy wants to be in an organization. He wants to let a GM be a GM. He wants to let an owner be an owner. And he's actually one of those stars that's just kind of like, no, this is your job. You do your thing. He did kind of mess up when he got involved with the whole James Harden ordeal. But he was just excited his best friend was available, man. Then the COVID thing happened. Kyrie unavailable to play. Half of it wasn't Kyrie's fault. So to put certain games in the language and to make it seem like Kyrie didn't want to play basketball, water under the bridge. The Suns, on paper, are to me the best team on the West Coast, the best team in the NBA. You have DeAndre Ayton, 20 and 10, throwback center. Probably would have been a monster in the 90s. You have Chris Paul, arguably the greatest floor general the NBA has seen, not named Magic Johnson. You have Devin Booker, which is a elite scorer. A little fun fact about Devin Booker and Kevin Durant: when Kevin Durant was in OKC, in fact, he told OKC to draft Devin Booker. They were only 3 draft picks away, and instead they drafted Andre Roberson and didn't listen to him. By the way, this all played part in Kevin Durant leaving because he wanted a scorer next to him. He wanted somebody who could stretch the floor, unlike Westbrook. He wanted space to operate. So for him to be united with all this talent, hell yeah. I believe this is the team to beat. I believe this team is gonna gel quickly. They are all very unselfish players. They're all very good. A lot of people were speculating that Ayton was unhappy, but you know what cures unhappiness? Winning, winning, and winning. Ah, Monty Williams, great coach. How do you feel? How do you feel?
I
So
mean,
I'm all
I'm not willing
smiles.
to go. Yeah, of course you're all smiles. I mean, you're the Lair. You're a Brooklyn Net fan. I mean, all of the bloviating comes out as soon as a deal is made, so I kind of expect that. But I'm
I
not
am.
too sure I agree with the Suns being the best team in the NBA
Hmm.
just yet. Kevin Durant is not healthy for one, so he's not even playing. He won't be back until, let's just say, late February to be optimistic. But whenever he does come back, I do wonder where the Suns will be in the standings. One of the, I guess, since we're just talking about the Suns and how they are, but one of the reasons why I'm a kind of, I guess, more reserved. I guess I'm not too high on the players. Like, I do like their big four: Ayton, Chris Paul, and Devin Booker. But two of those four, Ayton in particular, I mean, you may think that this might be a band-aid for winning cures all, but I think Aiton and the issues that he's had has been more so around minutes, usage, and just how the organization views him. Trade deadline's not over until 3. I still think that there's a possibility that they could move Aiton and get somebody else. Which, whether if they didn't do that, I still don't think the Phoenix Suns are a bad team, but I wouldn't go as far as to say that they're the best team in the West, especially given how Kevin Durant and how his career has gone. Like you said, joining teams who've been to the finals. The Warriors actually won the finals. This is a team who already struggled with even getting to the finals for one, and they haven't been back since. So I don't know how far the Suns can go, but this definitely makes them a top four roster in the West. Not only just this year, but I think this is a deal. This is a career move more so. I don't want to turn the knob on the skillet for KD and the Phoenix Suns so quickly because he just got traded there. He is hurt. Chris Paul as well is banged up a little bit. This deal came in the middle of the night. No one expected this. I just want the Phoenix Suns to be healthy once the playoffs comes and let the chips fall where they may in the postseason. And then you can talk about next year, team building and trying to actually chase a title. But right now, this seems like a career move for KD. And I think most of his attention should shift towards retiring a son and kind of just building that chemistry with his teammates. But short term, I just think that this is a good deal for KD to kind of finally exhale and he can finally do what he wanted to do, just play basketball with other hoopers and try to chase a championship, which I think is definitely what he really wants. But
Something I love
but
about
yeah, I don't. It's kind of
Phoenix.
it's just I don't know. I like Phoenix, but I think you're going too far with I think you're creating exactly what Brooklyn had, which is all those expectations that they couldn't meet, and then two pressure that didn't really even need to be there. Like the Lakers are falling. They're under the radar right now with their roster, and this Phoenix Suns team in a playoff series versus the Lakers, if that was to ever happen, it's still a close series. Like I still think Phoenix is a really good team, but I don't know, man. I think you should be careful trying to put so many expectations so quickly on this team.
Any team with Kevin Durant is gonna have those expectations. Whether I put them,
Brooklyn did it.
of course, Brooklyn had those expectations.
No, they did. When they traded Kyrie, you were content with quasi competing in the Eastern Conference.
Right. Because there was no other star. He's back with stars. The expectation is hardware. 3 years left on the contract. Probably not going anywhere. One thing that
Nope,
I
I hope
really
not.
do love is that the Suns have more flexibility as far as upgrading their roster. As you said, they could move an eight in. You have an aging Chris Paul on the books who still has more value than a Ben Simmons. Like, there's so many things that could happen if, let's say, they don't close out the season strong. So this is a prime location, like you said, to go off into the sunset. And they did give up a lot. Cam Johnson, a young talent who's very, very solid, a good bench piece. Jay Crowder, who wanted out, didn't play, so this is an addition by subtraction. But Mychal Bridges was a budding star. Not an all-star player. Showing flashes of being a very, very good basketball player, defensively and offensively. And four first-round picks. Brooklyn is in full rebuild. Brooklyn will be all right. They have 8 picks. 8 picks overnight. They have a Cam Thomas to build around. Brooklyn will be all right. Shoot, Brooklyn might even stay in the hunt. They're fourth in the East. They just got, they don't have superstars, but they have a deep roster now, a little deeper, and they can still do something as far as the Ben Simmons situation. But the
Yeah, the
West
dust
is in
hasn't
trouble.
settled yet.
The West is in trouble. I
I
don't.
don't think though. You think so? I don't
I
think so. I think the West was already wild.
so
The West is
the
just got more
Suns
wild.
the Suns were good last year. The Suns were good the year before. Top three in the West. All these
Yeah,
years.
they're good this year. They just had injuries.
This
Don't
year,
don't yo
yeah,
don't
they
don't
were.
try to. They were good. They
They
were
were
good. They
good. They
just
were
had
good.
injuries.
They were injuries. They just got healthy. They added Devin Booker and they added Kevin Durant within the same 2 weeks, like within a 2 week window.
Devin
Um,
Booker.
they're going.
Oh,
Devin
like
Booker was
injury
out
coming
for
back from injury.
he was out
Yeah.
for a month. Yeah, he was
I
out for a
mean,
month and a
well,
half.
if you
Yeah.
want to say what's out, they didn't really technically didn't add Kevin Durant just yet. He has to actually play for the
So
Phoenix Suns
here's
first.
another shocker because I did find it fishy that Kevin Durant himself had said that he was going to play the 2 games before the All Star game. And immediately after Kyrie Irving requested a trade and was traded, a report came out, oh, he's so hurt he won't be able to suit up for the All Star game. I was kind of like,
Yeah, just remember the All Star game is what, like a week or two
a
away.
week or two away. I'm like,
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna play,
were
man.
you
I
were you
yeah, I
that
don't
hurt?
think.
Or were you like, all right, I'm out. I'm not gonna play at all. I'm not gonna bother. So I think we see him right after the break.
Yeah, I think we see him after. This was a gigantic move in the West, but again, until we see how good the Suns are with Kevin Durant, like more than just a game, more than just 2 games.
Hmm.
Like I don't know how much of a ripple effect it has on the Western Conference because defensively the Suns did take a hit. You lose Bridges, you lose Crowder, like you lose some integral pieces that on a night to night basis, when Devin Booker was out, when Chris Paul was out, when Kevin Durant's gonna need a break on the bench, Devin Booker needs a break on the bench, those were the guys that kind of chipped in. The roster's better, but I do worry about the bench. I've never like Torrey Craig is going to get more minutes. Cameron Payne, ex teammate for Kevin Durant as well, will be getting more minutes. Like I'm not too sure where the Suns are going to go, but do they get better? I say yes. This was a deal that they needed to make. I'm just a little bit. I'm a little bit apprehensive because I don't know if Aiton's going to be there. But if he ends up saying, this is definitely the team that I think Phoenix ultimately wanted.
Even if they move Ayton, Ayton is pretty damn good. They will get quality pieces.
Oh yeah, of course.
I think they'll get depth or bench pieces or both.
Yeah, I just don't want to be too high on teams because I know Kevin Durant's like I don't the only time Kevin Durant answered the bell was in Golden State. Until he shows me, I'm going to continue to doubt because I know he gets hurt. I know he gets tired. He usually has to carry teams. Chris Paul normally gets hurt. Devin Booker sometimes kind of flails off. So I don't know.
Hmm.
I just want to see what happens first before putting too much expectations on a team that's for this year mainly every player their best players have like kind of had issues, injuries or things with like management. Ayton, Booker, Chris Paul, they've all had something going on. So I don't want to expect them to win the championship this year, but they definitely will make some noise. This is a crazy move in the right direction.
Yeah, I think anytime Kevin Durant doesn't have to carry and get to plug and play, you don't get to focus on just him offensively. It's scary hours. It's scary
Yeah, and there's
hours.
so many moving parts in this team that offensively you kind of have to figure out like your attack there. Um, this
So
is Kevin Durant's first time playing with like a perennial shooter but yet it's not like it's not like Stephen Curry or
It's
anything
not
like that.
Steph. It's not
Yeah, it's not like
Steph.
Steph, but
It's not. But it's pretty damn close with Booker.
it's pretty damn
It's
close.
pretty damn
But I
close.
do think logistically, it's not like that Warriors offense kind of fit KD perfectly. Whereas like this pick and roll Phoenix Suns offense, we'll see.
Chris Paul.
I'm not doubting it. Yeah,
Chris
of course,
Paul.
Chris Paul.
Chris
Yep.
Paul might make Kevin Durant's life easy.
Yeah,
Easy.
definitely.
Um, Kevin Durant is gifted what Kobe wanted in LA, which is a CP3. Even at this stage in CP3's career, I do think CP3 is highly, highly intelligent in getting his guys involved, getting his guys good
Yep.
looks. But I'm actually more excited for the pick and roll with Ayton. Um, we had developed a pick and roll with Claxton, which was damn near unguardable at the rim, where Katie would draw in all the attention after hitting a couple buckets and just lob it to Claxton. And sometimes Claxton wouldn't finish, or he'd give it to Claxton in the post for a hook shot. And Ayton is going to destroy defenses if you can't properly focus on him, hone in on him. So I'm actually gonna be excited to see those lineups where it's just Katie and Ayton on the floor while Chris Paul and Devin Booker rest, or lineups where it's just Chris Paul and Katie. It's gonna be interesting. Monty Williams does have depth issues, but at the same time he has stars that can play with bench players. He has stars that can carry an offense. So it's gonna be very interesting. Coaching is gonna matter. Coaching is gonna be key.
Yeah, and I
He's
think
a
for the
good
most part, a
situation.
lot of I think one thing that Kevin Durant, he's gonna have to carry a heavy load with this type of team. Like I do think that him and Devin Booker offensively in the postseason, we can sit here and rave about Ayton and Chris Paul, but I do
It's
think
them.
that
It's on them.
when butt cheek gets when it gets tight, like it's on your 34, 35-year-old superstar in Devin Booker.
But you
Like I
know,
said, I don't know how good Devin Booker can be in those moments. So I don't want to cast aspersions because I think that all of them, especially CP3 and Booker, they kind of get like a fresh slate with KD coming
yeah, they
over.
do. They do.
You feel like you've forgotten about
They
Chris
do.
Paul losing in the fight. It's kind of like this is your moment, CP3. So I want to see how it shapes up.
Talking about Devin
Um,
Booker, he had one of the best finals to date as a
yeah, of
shooting
course.
guard
But the
position.
year after, there has been games after that final. you know, like that's what I'm saying. That finals was good, but since then, this has been a very haphazard Suns team. And same goes for KD. He's been out as well. Like I don't like I'm a little bit weary in regards to their health, but roster wise, dude, they can compete with the Warriors. They can compete with any team in the Western Conference. They just need to get everybody on the court. Like they don't even get that in this trade. They
Hey,
get the trade, but when does KD play?
hey,
When
remember,
KD comes back, is Chris Paul playing? Like these are like small little things that kind of add up when it comes to chasing a championship.
while they wait for Katie to get right, they have the Michael Jordan of the bubble at their disposal. All right,
The
everybody
bubble.
forgets about T.J.
Who
Warren.
cares about the bubble?
T.J. Warren, the Michael Jordan of the bubble, is on the
The
Suns as
bubble's
well.
over. The bubble.
He's
That's
on the
three
Suns as
years ago.
well.
The bubble.
He's on the Suns as well. All right, T.J. Warren can still play basketball. I'm looking for
Yeah.
TJ to be a very important piece of that team. Yes, I do think he gets minutes off the bench and stretches where they're like, yo, go get some buckets.
Yeah, for sure. Again, playoffs are a lot different than a regular season. I don't think TJ Warren. I don't. We'll see though. We'll see. I just think that when it comes to the end of the season,
Mm-hmm.
it's coming down to two guys, and maybe three, because Chris Paul too.
Chris Paul, yeah.
Like that's where the season lies. Those three guys, as long as they can stay healthy. If they stay healthy, and I'll say this because I feel like I'm talking too much on what if they're not healthy.
Health, yeah.
If they're healthy, if they're healthy, I think that they can easily go 7 games with the team in the Western Conference Finals or even make the finals. Like I see them winning at least 2 series.
Yeah.
Um,
Which, even if
Let me look at
they
the
get to the
standings.
Western Conference Finals and lose, it's not a bad year because
It's not. That's
it's
why I say
not.
I don't want to put. How about this? What if they got to the finals and lost?
I still don't think that's bad because that's already further than the 3 years in Brooklyn. You know, from
Yeah.
KD's point of view. From KD's
From
point of view.
KD's point of view, yes, but I don't
Chris
even think
Paul.
that is
Chris
bad.
Paul would be sick to his stomach though.
Chris Paul would be sick, but at the same time, like if you're Phoenix, you should have freaking made this deal in the summertime so that they, like, and one of the components that I brought up in my last video, Bridges, he was the only reason why Phoenix didn't want to make the deal before the season started. They were
Mm,
withholding Mychal Bridges because they said that he was like a culture guy and they didn't want to trade him. They refused to trade him.
that is
That's
something.
why,
That is
yeah,
something
that's
that's
why
true.
now they trade him. I'm like, bro, you just literally traded Mike. Like, I thought they would trade Ayton and keep Bridges
Bridges.
with KD. And to me, I mean, I think that that's better. But
That's
they
interesting.
keep Ayton. The reason why I think it's better is because the West is like obvious. You're never gonna win the big man game in the West with Jokic out there and stuff like that. Like you're not gonna win that position. So
Hmm.
you might as well just try to outduel Jokic with some perimeter players, and guys that can complement KD well. But Ayton, that's the block in the paint that kind of clogs things up. How well he does with them, I don't know. I don't know, but I do think that they can go far.
They
Um,
should look to get maybe a stretch four or stretch five, which is not that hard to do these days.
the price point that they pay Ayton at is just so much. Like
It's
you
pretty
don't.
high. It's pretty high.
I'm like at that center position. I don't think you really care about DeAndre Ayton now that you have KD. But they ended up trading Bridges. I'm a little bit shocked. Like I feel like Bridges is like he definitely cried on that flight to Brooklyn because they sold him a dream.
It stinks for
They
Bridges.
acted.
He was Aiton's best friend, by the way, so that's
Dude,
something
they
to monitor.
sold Bridges a dream, and every time Chris Paul, Devin Booker was out, it was Bridges that carried them.
Hmm.
That's why I'm like, ugh,
Did
like
you
it
see
feels.
his tweet at 1 a.m.?
Nah, what did it say?
He said,
Go right ahead.
"Oh my God." That was his tweet at 1:30 a.m. His
Yep.
tweet was, "Oh my God." Yikes. And
Any laugh out loud? Or
Bridges, no, no, I think he's just like stunned, definitely
yeah,
sad. He was the heart of that team, really. Like, he was the smile, he was chirping. Like, whenever they were talking smack to an opponent, it was always Bridges leading the pack. He was the defender, he was always guarding the best perimeter player on the other team, which they don't really have a guy for that now. What is it going to be? Devin Booker? KD? Um, and they didn't even keep Cam Johnson, who's that kind of same guy with a chip on his shoulder, like who thinks he can do anything he wants, guard anybody and give him
that
buckets.
is
I
absolutely
love players like
true. They
that.
got rid of Cam Thomas too. Cam
Yeah, Cam
Johnson.
Johnson. I love players like that. You need those players on your bench. You need those players in the pinch in the playoffs. Those guys that are fearless, nameless and fearless. That's what
Yeah, I
Bridges
was a little
was.
surprised. I was very surprised to see Bridges get moved, but that's why I say like sometimes like organizations make these moves and you know people like yourself, you get the expectations of winning a championship and for good reason, but time is not on Phoenix's side, especially when it comes to injuries. I'm just pissed that they didn't make this move before the season started in order to build that chemistry. But yeah, this is it. They get KD now,
How,
and just like last year, KD's hurt, so they kind of gotta wait for him to come back.
how about Brooklyn? Spencer Dinwiddie, Cam Thomas, Mychal Bridges, Ben Simmons, and Nick Claxton. That's the starting five. With Cam Johnson, Seth Curry,
Joe
who am I
Harris,
forgetting? Joe. Like,
Yuta.
pretty deep bench. Yuta,
I mean, I wouldn't deep.
Sharp.
You really think so deep?
Not
I think
deep, but they're
serviceable,
they're
serviceable.
they're gonna fight. They're gonna fight.
Yeah, and for the most part, the Brooklyn Nets, like I was looking at the standings a little bit earlier today, 32 and 22 right now. A lot of people would kind of think that they're kind of tanking or
Finney
maybe they're going to
Smith.
go in a different direction.
I forgot Finney.
Yeah, no, it's okay. But I do think that Brooklyn, I gave this number. If they can get to 40 wins, this is a good season for them on a hashtag rebuilding year. If they're able to get into the postseason and get Cam Thomas and all these young guys, and especially Bridges, he deserves it. Get
Hmm.
all these young guys playoff experience.
Hmm. The
On a year
future is
you
bright.
traded KD and
The
Kyrie. Yeah,
future is
it's
bright.
that's a good way to walk away if you're Brooklyn from the big three, because it does leave that nugget of motivation for next year for Cam.
Isn't that insane? We were just second in the East, one game behind the Celtics. 18-2 run. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving all smiles. And then the
Yeah.
contract talks, and
Yeah,
then
it's
boom,
wild how
blow it
quickly
up.
the
S-
moves just happen.
So
And I think
volatile.
mainly, I'm gonna be honest, I think the Nets, Josiah, and that management team, for a long time we've kind of criticized them for, oh yo, you guys traded James Harden, you traded this. I will say this. I'll give them credit for making moves because at least they're giving
They're
us the
doing
drama.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're doing something. There's organizations out there in the NBA who make zero moves at all. But I do got to give credit to the Nets for actually doing something.
They
You
did
know,
something.
and actually listening to these players. Think about the Knicks. How many times could you have traded a guy like Carmelo Anthony? You think about people requesting trades and holding on to them. But I got to give Brooklyn credit. They ended up moving these guys. Russell Westbrook, the buyout situation with him. We'll see what happens there. Jay Crowder. You did bring up Jay Crowder yesterday. You think he gets bought out?
He absolutely gets bought out, moved, whatever you want to call it. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Nets keep making moves. They have an aging Seth Curry on the roster. A lot of teams like Seth. They have a Joe Harris who's pretty much looks done. They have a young core. I think they're gonna focus on that.
Oh God, I think you gotta dangle Joe Harris. So
Yeah, they're gonna focus on that. They can, if they want, they can come out of this looking like Utah as far as the picks, while still playing entertaining basketball. So it's not like they own their own picks anymore, right? So if you do just gather up picks from other teams and still install a good culture around Jack Vaughn, I love Jack Vaughn as a coach. Brooklyn comes out of this unscathed, which as unscathed as you can be while losing a top three scorer in the league. But
yeah, one take I wanted to make. I mean, I like the picks. They got the 2023, 2025, 2027, and 2029. I think it's like lightly conditioned,
hmm
but they got all four of those picks. But at the same time, I started thinking about it. How often do draft picks actually pan out? The value of draft picks, is it really worth that much? Like, I
so
feel like they, on paper, you tell your owner, yo, I got you guys 6 picks for the next however many years, but it's like most of these picks never even pan out to be, as good as they are, or if they do, it freaking takes time.
in
It takes a
retrospect,
lot of time. And then as we're learning, look at Oklahoma City. They get all these picks, you get all these players, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or even Kevin Durant, James Harden in particular.
hmm
You got to keep them. You can't trade him. You can't trade KD if you're OKC. You can't trade your talented players that you draft. So I do hope that, Brooklyn, you get all these picks, you make your picks. Now lay in the bed that you made and develop the talent that you will get in the future. Do not look to make more moves to trade for superstars that you know you can't acquiesce to. You know you can't.
that's the
Some
key.
teams yeah, some teams just aren't built for that.
That's the key with picks. The Celtics were able to rebuild quickly because they're an army of picks. An army of Marcus Smart pick, Jalen Brown Nets pick, Jason Tatum Nets pick. Like it's so many ways to retool and rebuild. I think I personally think having an army of draft picks is can only help you because in the end, you can either draft a talented guy or package some picks and get a decent guy or a great guy. You know what I mean? So they're definitely in better shape, and they kept young cornerstone. Claxton is 21. Cam Thomas is 22. They have Bridges is what, 26, 25, 26. Like they have a young core. They have some pretty good basketball players. Then Witty, I think basketball in Brooklyn is about to be fun again. Remember them dancing on the sidelines and just having fun, whether they won games or lost games. That's where they're headed, man. That's where they're headed. They're in a better shape, much better shape.
Yeah, much better shape. But yeah, I guess to close in conclusion, Kevin Durant headed to Phoenix. I got the thumbnail up, him smiling, Chris Paul smiling. I feel like everybody's happy with these deals. Trade deadline ends at 3 p.m.
Hmm.
today, so I'm pretty sure we'll get some more deals. Anything else you want to say before we go, Lair?
No, this is a great day. I'm smiling. Listen,
I know you smiling.
I'm
I know you
consistent.
smiling.
I am consistent in being inconsistent. I will follow KD until he retires. As 90% of Brooklyn's fan base will flock away because they were here for KD and Kyrie. There is no shame in my heart, and go Phoenix.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll be back live. I do see about like 40, 50 people here in the chat. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you guys can participate in the chat. Later on today, I might kind of free up the restrictions. The last time I did that, we got a lot of spam with some porn sites and whatnot. So, I kind of had to go away from that, but maybe I'll turn subscribers off so everybody can get a chat. But if you can, leave a like on the video for myself and also the Lair. Subscribe to our channels. It's NBA trade deadline season right now. It is hot in the NBA. I think Ayton gets moved before 3. What do you think?
It's highly possible that Ayton gets moved, but even
I
if
think
he
he gets it. Yeah, the
doesn't,
way that these trades are going,
I
I
like it.
I think he gets moved. I think he gets moved. I'm gonna put myself right there on right there on the plank. I think Ayton's gonna get moved.
Because he may smell the roses and say, hey, can I stay? Or can I play with these guys, with this guy? He may
Ugh.
smell the roses, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. If he
Yeah,
gets
but
moved, what do you think they go for? What do you think they look for?
oh, honestly, maybe a cheaper big. So I think they might try to get back. Like I thought about some deals or teams that they could possibly reach out to. Obviously, you already know the team that's full of bigs, the Orlando Magic.
Yep.
You can reach out to them, get a nice little window Carter Jr. I believe his salary cap's like around like 17 maybe,
Hmm.
and maybe another little wing player. But I do think that they would be wrong not to dangle Aiton
I
before
would.
this
I
3 p.m.
wouldn't be
deadline,
mad. I wouldn't be mad at Wendell Carter Jr. and Jonathan Isaac, or Wendell
right?
Carter Jr. and one of those guards like Suggs or Cole. They have so many guards, Cole Anthony, and because we know Chris Paul is aging. Why not get a?
Yeah, he
Why not
definitely
get a?
is.
Why not get a young budding guard that can run the offense, get buckets, and play some defense? Because some of these guards down in Orlando are two way. Like I like how they play. I like Orlando. This is
Yeah,
interesting. This is grab a
definitely
bobo,
balling.
grab a bobo.
Yeah, grab a bowl.
Who knows?
Grab a bowl.
But I
But
wouldn't
we'll
be
be
mad
back for more.
if they keep Ayton.
Yeah.
We'll
You
be
you
back.
wouldn't be mad?
No, not at all. Not at all. Anytime you can get somebody that can grab rebounds, bang in the post, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna be mad.
I'm not particularly a fan of Aiton, but if they did keep him, like I said, that big four is still gonna be a problem with Kevin Durant, Book. It's still gonna be a problem. It still is. I'm just being a little bit selfish as a basketball fan, thinking that they'll move Aiton. But we'll see what happens, man. 3
no,
p.m. is the trade
I
deadline.
think you're right. That'd be an even better
Yeah,
move.
they got. You gotta dangle them. You gotta dangle them. You gotta dangle them a little bit. But yeah, 3 p.m. is the deadline. We'll be back with more. This is the Basketball Zen
This was
with
the
the
layer.
Layer, of course.
Thank you guys.
I'll see you guys in a little bit.